welcome back to another episode of AIBiz. I'm your host Avik, and today we are getting real about something that's like crept into every home, every business, every pocket, which is automation. Yeah. Now, uh, don't get me wrong, dear listeners, I love innovation. But today's guest is here to ask a much needed, much overdue question, which is what happens when AI goes too far? When convenience comes at the cost of connection? Amazing, right? So, with us is the one and only Andrew Bolton. So, welcome to the show, Andrew.
Thank you for having me. This is a very, very special topic for us,
Yeah.
especially in our business, and
Hmm.
there's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah,
Thank
exactly.
you for having me.
Lovely, lovely. So, Andrew, I'll quickly love to introduce you to all the listeners. Dear listeners, Andrew, Harvard trained financial strategist, ex Wall Street maverick, and now the CEO and co founder of TechRescue, a 24/7 human powered tech support company that's growing fast and flipping the script on AI driven support models. No bots, no menus, just real help. So now he's not just here to talk about the tech. So he's here to talk about humanity and how we are losing it in the name of efficiency. Like from scam protection for the seniors to helping families navigate the digital chaos, Andrew brings a razor sharp perspective on how automation can both serve us and harm us. So, if you have ever felt like a hostage to your own devices or screamed at a chatbot, then this episode is for you. So, dear listeners, I'll not take much of your time. Let's get started. Welcome to the show again, Andrew.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. So, Andrew, you called automation a slow erosion of human experience. That's really a bold statement, definitely. But what was the moment for you? I mean, either personally or professionally, when you realized that tech had gone too far?
Um, that's a loaded question. Um, one of the things that I realized um when we first started this company, how quickly it was received. That
Hmm.
was surprising.
Yeah.
And we started asking different type of questions.
Okay.
We asked why.
Mm.
And what we found over the past 2.5 years of doing this now is there is one common theme
Mm.
across multicultures, race, religion, creed, anything you want to talk about.
Mm.
We want to connect with one another. That's
Mm.
as as simple as it is. We just want to connect to one another. We want to have somebody that we can talk to
Mm.
that just can show a little empathy, for what's going on. So our standard operating procedure model on page number 2 outside the cover manual is every call is somebody's most important person. It's in big red bold letters. It takes the entire page. And this is the type of mentality that I want every one of my employees to take. And this is what we screen for is empathy, sympathy, caring, and leadership. I can teach you how to pivot. I can teach you how to flip a script. I can teach you how to sell. I can teach you how to calm. I can't teach you to be empathetic. I cannot teach you to treat everybody as if they were your family members. I can't teach that. And what we have noticed over the past 2.5 years of doing this and hiring people is technology has opened doorways for us to connect to one another in ways that we never did. I was an '89 child. I grew up in the '90s when I was away at camp when my parents sent me away. I still remember the days of 100-minute, 120-minute phone cards. And you being in India, you know, growing up as a kid in North Jersey where families were still back in the old country, Italy, Ireland, India, you were talking about $9 a minute to talk to your family. Now with WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, FaceTime, one iPhone to another iPhone, just making just making a video call. You don't have to pay the money that you used to pay in the old days. You don't have to go through the lengths at which you had to go through. It has now become so easy to get in touch with somebody on the other side of the planet that we now have businesses being run internationally. One section is in Mumbai, another section is in Berlin, another section is in the United States, another section is in Canada, in Mexico. We have become so globally intertwined with one another, and yet because of this,
Hmm.
we have lost the ability to talk to one another. And if you don't understand what I'm talking about, just look to the United States. Look how divided we are.
Mhm.
Look how divisive we are with one another. We're surrounded by each other in every nook and cranny, but
Mhm.
we are further from each other than we've ever been. We have dating numbers to prove it. We have video game usage numbers to prove it. We have video call numbers to prove it.
Hmm.
We have psychological tests by the New England Journal of Medicine, by
Mhm.
Psychology Today, that we are seeing an erosion of epidemic proportions in human connectivity
Mhm.
across the world. AI has done a lot of the heavy lifting for us. It has. It really has.
Hmm.
But what where the red flags are coming up are when we're not able to express ourselves to one another in a constructive manner, when we have the inventions of artificial intelligent girlfriends and boyfriends and,
Mhm.
this avenue of robotics that this can go down. I understand that there's a market segment for it, but if we look at who we are as a people, not just country-wise, but as us as a civilization,
Hmm.
we shouldn't need these things.
Hmm. Got
We
it.
really shouldn't.
Got
So,
it.
where I see the red flag is new and exciting and more adventurous ways for us to get away from one
Mhm.
another. VR headsets, 100+ hour video games that are almost impossible to beat, that lock you in on purpose.
Hmm.
Um, Doing classes remotely. All these things are good things to have,
Mhm.
but they're doing away with our ability to grow as individuals. Think of it this way.
Got it.
Think about the ability to bring a tablet or laptop into a high school classroom for every student. Yes, it's an
Hmm.
incredible thing. You can take notes, you can do studies, you can do all these incredible things and send it to your home email address. That way you have
Hmm.
everything in one place. But what do we normally find on teenagers' screens in school?
Uh,
Everything and everything other than what they're doing.
hmm. True.
There's a conversation that we need to have. I am not against artificial intelligence. I'm
Hmm.
really not.
Yeah.
This is this genie has been let out of the bottle. It's not going
Hmm.
back.
True.
So to this argument that I've heard online in terms of how do
Hmm.
we control AI? You don't. You don't control AI. But what we can do is we can start using AI
Hmm.
in a much more effective manner, right? So if we have Chat
Yeah.
GDP, for example, in the United States, there is a problem with cheating in Chat
Hmm.
GDP. It can come
Okay.
up with a PhD level paper in less than 20 minutes.
Okay.
Instead of banning it, because you can't,
Hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
why don't you start teaching kids how to properly use it?
Exactly. How to utilize the positive side of it.
How do you show kids, yes, you can now create very complicated
Hmm.
spreadsheets. You can create all these different things. Do you know what it does? Do you understand what you're doing? What you're asking the computer to do, what you're asking the computer to solve. Do you understand the question that you're asking? Because if you don't understand the question that you're asking, you're not going to understand the answer that you're getting.
Very true. Yes. Ah. So amazing. I mean, here is, if I have to say, like, I love that because we forget that behind every help ticket is actually a person who is easily overwhelmed, frustrated, even um, maybe even scared. like bringing empathy back to the tech feels revolutionary now. So yeah, exactly.
So every call that we have when we do interviews for candidates in the call center, leadership positions, um, the number one thing that I always stress is that every call is a hot call. A hot call means frustrated, annoyed, scared, angry, confused, whatever it may be. You're not very rarely you're going to get a good call because we are a help center, right? So the reason why you're calling a help center is because you're at the end of your rope. You're tired, you're frustrated, you don't have any more patience. So the call that's coming in is a hot call. So I stress this extremely extensively in training and as well as our corporate policy is that every call is a hot call. And on page 2, as I mentioned, every call is somebody's most important somebody. You don't know that person,
True.
but to somebody else, that is the most important person in their world. And I treat everyone that calls in to our call center like they are the most important person to somebody. I have made part of my day throughout the day is I follow up on issues that can't get resolved. I personally follow up with those people. I personally call you because I, as the owner and CEO of the company, my responsibility is the end of the line. If it doesn't get done, I'm the one held responsible. So I'm the one responsible to make sure that that issue gets resolved and that customer feels one that they were heard, two that they were valued, and three that somebody cares about their problem. When you get somebody back on the phone and you say that, "This is Andrew Bolton, the CEO of TechRescue. I was made aware of the situation yesterday or 2 days ago. I apologize. Can I ask you how can I fix this problem and make your
Mm.
next experience with TechRescue the best it can possibly be?
Yeah.
How can I help you fix this problem?"
Mm.
Believe it or not, yes, as a business tactic, that's very useful. It
Mm.
instills trust and all other things like that, but I also care. You're frustrated, you're angry, I can't solve your problem. Okay. Tell me how I can help, and I will figure out a way to fix this problem for you. That's our core philosophy. And
Amazing.
the reason why we've had such prolific growth is because there is this lack
Mhm.
of connectivity, lack of accountability, and lack of empathy in the market where people are just starving for it.
Mm.
And it's sad to say that this shouldn't be something that people require. This should be part of your business. How many times have you looked to see look to call a company and their contact information isn't even on the website or on Google? Companies have now started taking their contact information off their websites for this very reason. They don't want to deal with the customer. This is what we have. This is what we're selling. If you don't like it, too bad. If not, have a nice day and a smile. We don't care. And look at where it's gotten us in the world. There's something to be said about caring about what your customers are going through, caring about your customer. There's
Mhm.
something to be said about that. There shouldn't be really a topic for debate.
Correct.
I was on another podcast and I said something very clever and I liked it. How you treat your customers is how they're going to treat your bottom
Mm.
line.
Exactly.
And this is what I can say about AI. AI
Mm.
doesn't care about your customer. A chatbot does not care about your customer. You can give it the greatest script. You can get the best copywriter to write you the best message, but I
Mhm.
promise you, 9 out of 10 times, I'm going to take your customer because the fact that I see or one of our agents sees that the chatbot is getting engaged, how much better is it than when you get a phone call? "Hi, John, this is Andrew, this is Andrew from TechRescue. I see that you've been engaging with our chatbot for some time now.
Mm.
Um, how can I help you?"
Yep.
"You're a real person?" "Yes, I'm a real person. How can I help you?"
Mm.
We don't have chatbots. We don't have robots. We don't have anything. We don't have mazes. We don't have numbers. You call us 855-250-8586. You get a real person on the phone every time. You get a real person on the phone.
So really amazing, I have to say. Yeah. Huh. So, also, like looking ahead, what's your vision for the future of human-centered technology?
I see in the next 10 years telehealth being the number one sector in the market
Mhm.
completely. We have a baby boomer generation that is over 70 million in America. Worldwide, we're talking about an age demographic of somewhere in the neighborhood of just shy of 3/4 of a billion people, just alone in that
Mhm.
age gap. There's gonna be a huge strain on resources for
Mhm.
technology, medicine, services, things like that. I'd say if you're in the pharmaceutical industry, I would say start
Mhm.
ramping up your productions for some of the major elderly diseases, some of the elderly care things. I would start
Mhm.
saying ramp up now. I see us becoming much more technology savvy. Laptops will like be a thing of the past. You might just have a desk that becomes a keyboard and a monitor.
Mhm.
Um, I think we're gonna have things more integrated in smart technology.
Mhm.
Your car, your phone, your bikes, your
Mhm.
everything. Everything is going to become computerized. I see in the next 5 years, supermarkets are gonna have, like, these little things on the shopping carts that you
Mhm.
scan your phone on, and your Amazon shopping list pulls up on what you need to go to the grocery store.
Mhm.
You misplace your cart, pull out your phone, the store has a grid layout, every aisle has a beacon, and your cart is in whatever aisle beacon is most recognized at, and now you can find your cart.
True.
I see the next 5 to 10 years becoming so heavily entranced with everything smart,
Mhm.
um, that you're not even gonna be really thinking about anything anymore because it's all gonna be there for you,
Mhm.
which is another problem.
Yep.
What we have found in studies that pertain to our business
Mhm.
in senior care,
Yeah.
the overuse of technology has increased signs of dementia, early stage onset dementia by about
Mm.
7%
Yeah.
because we're not critically thinking.
Mm. True. Lovely. So awesome. I mean, it's really a great chat, and that vision actually gives hope because it's not about rejecting the technology. It's all about choosing how we want to engage it with, and we can be intentional and we can be automated as well. So that's true. That's true. Um, Andrew, any advice you would like to share with the listeners?
Like any tool, artificial intelligence has its benefits, but you also need to know when not to use it.
Mm.
You need to learn, for example,
Mm.
you may now know how to build something on YouTube, right? You can build almost anything, you can learn almost anything, but until you actually put it into practice, it's all theory.
Yes.
And artificial intelligence is a fantastic tool. It can make jobs a lot faster, but you're not going to understand what you're doing until you actually do it.
Mm. Very truly said. Yep. Amazing. So, Andrew, this conversation is really an eye-opening, and you reminded us that the future doesn't just happen to us; we shape it, and through our choices, our designs, and our values. And for everyone who is listening, if you have been feeling like a stranger in your own digital life, then you are not alone, and you are not powerless. Seek out tech that respects your time, your privacy, and your humanness. So check out TechRescue. Talk to your family about the digital hygiene, and the next time a bot asks you to press one, two, or three, then remember you do have another option.
Yes. Yes, you do.
Exactly. So, Andrew, like if someone wants to connect with you and have a discussion or have a chat on the same, how they can connect with you?
You can go to
Yeah.
www.techrescue.io, or you can call us at 855-250-8586, or you
Mm.
can write to help at techrescue.io.
Wow. Amazing. Lovely. So, this has been on AIBiz, dear listeners. I'm your host, Avik, reminding you to stay curious, stay conscious, and above all, stay human. So, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.